Welcome back. So now we have the controller running with the same information that we did in the auto controller before. So it seems that we have all the different things we need in order to call ourselves an actual base controller for usage inside the web API. Happy days. Now we need to start creating our different endpoints, methods like the get request, put request, post request, and delete request. We need those in here, and I'm going to do it all test driven again. But since I don't have any interfaces, I could create those. I'm not going to. I'm going to instead use reflection a bit more, and then let's see how it's actually done. So the first thing I want to figure out is how I just want a simple method right here called getAll. That's all I want, and I want that to get in there test-driven using reflection. And let's just get rid of it for now. I'll jump into my product controller right here, and there I've made this small has getAll method. By the way, before we get there, I've actually split the last lesson's test code into two different methods right here because I'm really a fan of only having one assert for each of the methods. So you can go and check that out in the last lesson. It's just, now this one is just for the attribute test and this for actually using the right controller parameter inside the attribute. So they're just split up into two. Back to the current test. How can we get all the methods that we need in our system? We can actually go and say type of, and then we can pass in product controller right here. And then there's actually one saying get methods to get all the methods we have available inside our product controller, again using reflection. Happy days. Now with this in place, what we can actually do is just, I'm looking for a certain method that I want to create, and the method is going to be the getAll method. So I can do a first.default again, and I can do methods like this, and I can do m.name to kind of look for a certain method. And let's actually do the name first. It's going to be called getAll, that's the name of the method, and I'm going to equal it to this m.name right here. Now when that is there, I've found my method. So the final one I'll do is just an assert not null because I don't expect that method to be null. And there we go. Let's try and run the code right now and see if the unit test is now running as expected. The unit test is running and of course it's failing because there is no getAll method inside this product controller. Let's jump into our product controller right here and add that method right here. So we'll do a public void, and we'll just do it void for now. Public void, and it'll be a getAll method, because that's actually all it is inside these controllers. It's just simple methods. Now with this in place, let's try and rerun the unit test right here. Hopefully now it works, because now it knows that method is available using reflection right here. Happy days, but I want to make one more fact, because I actually want to make sure that it's going to be a public method. And there we go, let's just add one is public right here. It's public like this. And how do we do that? Well, actually it's pretty neat. You can say true here instead to explain I'm expecting true, and then you can say method.isPublic, right? Let's just try and make the method private now. The method is private now. Let's try and run the unit test, and notice since I'm using a small trick of reflection, even though this might not be available now for real in the test, it's still going to try and get that method and explain to me that the method is now private, and hopefully that means it's going to fail. And let's just see what happens. We get a failing isPublic test there. And also we get the other one is also failing now because it's not allowed to get it. So we'll just do a public here again, like this, public. And we'll just try and rerun all unit tests. And actually let's run the other ones as well. It won't take that much time. And that's how you can kind of do a test if things are public or private using reflection. We'll go one more step. We'll say, what about the return state? So let's say this is going to return list of products in action result. That's what we want to return right here. Now, while I was talking and writing code, it just completed all my tests. So happy days. The final thing we're going to test right here is returns action result. Now, how do we test that? That's a pretty tough one, actually. So let's try and do a debugger right here. And I know this is complete overkill again for some of you, but I just want to show you how it's actually doable to use these reflections to go in there and figure out to write test-driven actually using these different sets right here. Let's see what happens when we get to the method right here. How do we actually know what we're going to return? Now if I mouse over right here, you'll see there's actually return value. Let me just try and get that method from here instead. There's actually return value somewhere in the code. Let's try and see if we can find it. There it is, return type. And right now the return type is void. That's not what we want. We want the return type to be something else. So I'm going to here do equal again, equal, like this. And then I'm going to just test this using a string. So I'll say type of, and I'll say, what do I expect to get back? I expect to get an action result back with a list inside it, inside the list, there should actually be products. So here's going to be product. There we go. This is what I expect right now in my setup. I expect to get this back. I know that's really weird, but that's what I'm expecting. And then what I'll say is, let's just end it right there. And then I'll say dot, and I'll get the full name for that. So that's the name for this action inside the code. I'll do a comma, and then I can actually say method dot, and I can say return type dot full name. So now if these two match, instead of getting back void, what I'm actually getting back is going to be that action result right there. Let's try and rerun the unit tests. See what happens now. Hopefully now it fails again because I'm getting back void right here, but I want to get back this information here instead. And then we just need to change that in our code. Now, oh man, a lot of good thing going on right here. Void right now, I expect it to actually get back action result. Let's just copy this into our controller right here. Instead of void, return the action result. And for now, let's just return null like this. There we go. And now let's rerun that test. And happy days. I know that was a long video, but I just want to show you guys how you can actually use reflection to kind of test getting methods into your code. The test is green, and now this entire line has been unit tested. So let's end it right there and have some more fun in the next lesson. See you next time. Bye.